So I finally bought a Squale, and I ended up buying the Squale that I thought I would buy and thought I liked the most. I've been looking at Squale for years, and I've wanted to buy one for a long time, but I never pulled the trigger. I think what finally pushed me over the edge was the fact that they raised their prices pretty dramatically, and I guess to keep up with inflation. But these are no longer what I would consider to be like inexpensive, cheap watches. They're like, for example, this watch has crossed the $1,200 mark, which makes it less of a like impulse buy, to more like that. It's okay. It's four figures now, and this is a serious purchase, kind of, because it used to be in the $900 range, maybe $960, I think was the price, and that's exactly what I paid for this watch. I somehow found like an authorized dealer that was still selling them at their original prices, even after the price increase. Is it really worth even $960? And I guess that's, I kind of understand the love for these watches. I really do like it. Don't get me wrong, I think it's a great watch, but it's certainly not perfect. It's for one, I like the dial color. I don't really have a diver that looks like this. The dial is full lume, which is pretty cool and interesting, but it really isn't very effective. I'm gonna just be straight with you. It is more gimmicky than anything, and it lasts maybe 5 minutes. And after 5 minutes, you can't tell the time in the dark. That's just how it is. And I just, again, since I'm just being real, thankfully I still like the dial, and they do sell another lumed version, which is like a kind of almost like a highlighter, like highlighter magic marker sort of color. It's sort of like this greenish, yellowish color. I'll probably put a picture of it. I think this is the more attractive of the two. I don't know if that one's more effective given its color, but this one's not very effective in the lume department. As a diver, it's great. This has 500 meters of water resistance. It's really got the look. The bezel action is pretty solid. The bezel insert is, I think it's aluminum. Pretty sure it's aluminum, and it's good. The colors are great. The build quality feels good. The rubber strap is quite nice, and I like it. The Tropic style rubber strap is very pliable. It's comfortable to wear. There's plenty of holes to size it nicely to your wrist. If you're because I've actually taken this watch to the beach twice. Once on like a beach that I could drive to, and another one where I flew to like the Caribbean with it. So I have taken this watch and put it through its paces and used it as a diver, or at least I took it to the beach. I went swimming with it in the ocean, and it did a great job. And I like it. So why am I'm not going to say I like it. I'm happy I own it, and I'm happy I got it at the price that I did. But it's becoming increasingly difficult for me to recommend this watch at the current price. At the old price, I think it was kind of worth it. There's a side of me that wish I would have. So another thing is there's a side of me that wish I would have gone for like some kind of blasted finish, because this is just a fingerprint magnet. It gets smudged up, especially when you're at the beach, you're putting sunblock on, your hands are kind of greasy. It's just going to get all smudged up. So I'm always like constantly wiping it down. And that's not necessarily you want to do with it. Like this is supposed to be like a tool watch, right? So I don't know if I would recommend getting like the style watch in this like polished color, even though it is like very nice, and it's very nicely finished, and it really does stand out. It's kind of blingy almost in a way, but in a way I wish I would have just gone with a more traditional like militaire. Like this is the militaire model. I think it's a 1521. So I just looked at the price of this thing, and on longislandwatch.com. I love his website, and I've actually bought watches from him before. And it's not, I'm sure he doesn't set the prices, but this thing is currently going for $1,385. So I actually, now that I think back, I thought it was only $1,200, but no, I guess I got it for over $400 less than than it's currently selling for now, which is, you know, when I think about it like that, I think it's a deal. I think it's a really cool looking, it has a really cool looking dial. It's got that, you know, iconic like case design that Squale. I mean, Squale has been designing cases. They made cases for Blancpain at one point, and you know, this is something they do really well, and it's extremely comfortable. It has, you know, it contours. If you look at the angles, it contours your wrist really well. You know, again, it's got a solid case back, which lends to its like keeping it nice and thin. I think this is under 13 millimeters in thickness. Again, extremely comfortable watch to wear, and it's a great watch for that, for, you know, taking to the beach and stuff. Again, other than the whole case finishing, which, man, I just wish, again, there's a side of me that wanted to I should have gotten a blasted finish one, or like a matte finished case, but, you know, given the price that I got it at, I'm very happy. I think there's a lot of Seikos, like that new mini Samurai that they just came out in black. I think, in a way, I think I'd rather have that, and that's under $600. So there's a lot of watches that you can get for significantly less money that are not necessarily Swiss made, that are what I would consider to be just as good or better. So I'm not trying to be, this is definitely not a negative review. I really enjoy the watch, but it's just, it's definitely very expensive. One of the things you're paying for is, you know, Squale has a lot of history in the watch industry, specifically with divers watches. This is a serious divers watch. This watch has the highest depth rating of any watch that I own, by 200 meters. So it's basically like my Omega Seamaster 300 plus one of my Tudors. That's another 200. So this can outperform both of those and probably take you even more. But again, you know, this is a very good watch. Squale does offer new bracelet options for these 1521s, which is a good thing to have, because a lot of them usually come in like leather or rubber. If you're a bracelet guy like I am, there, you know, you have that option now. The polished version is like all polished. I don't necessarily think it would look, I think it'd just be too much. I'm definitely going to keep this watch on the stock strap. I like it. It's very breathable. It has a lot of holes, as you can see. It's great for the beach, like I mentioned, and I like it. I like it as is. So I'm definitely not going to add any like bracelets to this. I'm just going to keep it as is. I'm generally very happy with this purchase. So, but I just wanted to bring out, you know, some of the negative, you know, because I want to keep this review honest about this watch, and I don't necessarily want to praise it for what it is, because it's, you know, $1,400 is a tough pill to swallow for this. I'm going to be honest, because you know, there's a side of me that probably would rather have a Seiko for a lot less, or, you know, there are even Seikos that for the same amount of money that are probably arguably better watches. You're buying some of that Squale history. They make some of the best dive watches. Another cool thing to mention about Squale is they do make different watches with different materials. They make carbon fiber watches. They make, you know, titanium watches, which I think is pretty cool. They have different finishes. So they pretty much have a watch for if you're into any kind of look, they pretty much got you covered. I guess the most disappointing thing about this watch is probably the lume. You know, it's definitely very underwhelming. It does look cool when it's like fully charged and you're in a very dark room. It looks pretty cool, and you can certainly tell the time, because the hands are black, so they're going to cover any light that the watch face is emitting. It's sort of strange. In that regard, it's kind of cool, but at the same time, it's not very effective. So, but anyway, that's pretty much my thought. I didn't want to make this an extremely long video. But if you have any questions about this Squale 1521 full lume watch, feel free to leave them in the comments. It really helps a lot if you can like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.